interactive session. Like I said, this is an exclusive event, so listen up where we have the opportunity, real opportunity to have a one-on-one with Dr. Ayo, Pastor Koyejo. So this is the session we're going into now. We're giving them questions directly, so if you have any questions for specifically Dr. Ayo, just write them down. We're going to have 2 chairs up here. So it's going to be an interview type session where Mr. Koyejo will be interviewing Dr. Ayo. This should, please permit me to say that, let's keep the time. So, right, I'm talking to Pastor Koyejo now, not you. So, this should last about 30-40 minutes, and then we move on to the other session as well. So, can I have a hand here, please?
I'm sure you've been enjoying today's session, and I'm very certain that the first session was mind-blowing, and I know that we are getting ready for this very exclusive interview. So once again, I'm Oluwakoyjo, convener of the Confab, and where we are right now is the session of the interview, one-on-one interview with Dr. Ayo. We'll be chronicling his rise from humble beginnings to great achievements. So the modality is such that I will be asking some questions to Dr. Ayo, and of course he will respond. Then we will have an open forum where we all will ask our questions. And those of you that have written questions, I'll have them so I can ask him directly. So please help me welcome Dr. Ayo Ogunsan. Yes, like I said earlier, Ayo Ogunsan is the Chairman Executive Group, and it's also a board member of the Lagos State Security Trust Fund, and a serial entrepreneur of about 6 different companies, and well traveled, well read, and also a man of God to the core. Yes, Dr. Ayo, and I want to thank God for your life, thank God for all that you have been doing for the young people, and how passionate you've been all over to make sure that people get the best in life. So my first question will be, can you just tell us about yourself, where you started out from, and yes, just like a background story. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. There are some people I will try and avoid to look at their faces so they don't make me laugh. Yeah. David Ayo was born 45 years ago in the number 1 local government in Nigeria, in Agege local government, I'm right. I was born in Agege. I attended a primary school called Ibido Primary School. Later proceeded to St. Joseph Secondary School, Dimangoro, Agege, and then from there to Federal Polytechnic at Ekiti, where I studied business administration, and finished from there to complete my HND program in the Yaba College of Technology. I was born by late engineer Ayo Ogunsan, late Mrs. Ayo Ogunsan, my parents and more. A family of 4, which I happen to be the number 1. 2 other brothers, and then a sister girl, a lady. So we're actually 4. I think I don't know, maybe you need to guide me on where I need to stop.
Yeah,
are you comfortable with that?
We are fine.
Okay.
So when you were talking, you said you were born around Agege. So I remember a popular comedian, when you were talking about places, he said there are living things and non-living things. And living things, they are born in Korea. Non-living things, I don't want to talk about it. So, I mean, it looks like that non-living things area is where you started. But somehow we have moved from the non-living things area to the living things area. I'm sure that's just the show for where you were starting off from. The Dimangoro, St. Joseph Primary School you attended, and you have been able to achieve all of these things. What would you say was the most important turning point in your life? Yes. Thank you for the story.
Thank you very much. I agree with the comedian that we have the living and the non-living things. And most times, the thing that God showed interest much in are the non-living, to make it living. And for the living,
Let's put our hands together for that.
I remember the Bible too. There are some places that are exclusively for the living, and you hardly see. The highest Jesus would do in those areas is to go to their temples. But if you want to see areas where he will go on their bad roads and move in light truck, people follow him are the non-living ones. It was there, Zacchaeus and the rest of the blind, but all of them, they met him. So I would say that the turning point in my life, that when Jesus of Nazareth passed through the non-living environment some years ago, I got to meet him, and that changed the entire story. And I also like to say a big thank you to my parents. I would blessed memories. They are wonderful. You know, living with a disruptor at home, an innovator, as well, like I said earlier, you know what it means. The man actually did his best. It's one of the most outstanding teachers I've ever known. It was one of the defining moments in my life. But it has limitations. It was those limitations that the man of Galilee now came on to feel. That's the story.
All right, I'm sure we'd like to hear your salvation story. Maybe you gave your life to Christ. Who you used to be? I mean, you speak gently, but you still have that it's like it's still there somehow. So tell us, the salvation story. What you used to be when you encountered Christ. What are the radical changes? Yes, I'm sure everyone would like to hear.
Thank you very much. My story. I was not really a bad boy, because you can't be a bad boy where the instructor lives. My father would beat every bad thing out of him. You dare not. He was a moralist, a very, very strong moralist. And so that really helped me and shaped my life. But just what I did is just petty things. I was not into terrible things. I was into petty things. Maybe lie small. Even when you lie, you have to sign. You sign. When Dad get hold of me and say, you are lying, don't tell me a further lie. I say, yes sir. Okay, so stand where you are. I will give you 3 deadly slaps. Don't move an inch. You know, that kind of thing. So petty things. Maybe I just tell little lies. And I didn't really conform to Agili's standard. To Agili, I didn't conform to it. I think it's just a rare story. I didn't conform to that. I wasn't a bad boy. Some of my leaders are here. They know I wasn't a bad boy. But there was something missing in my life. I knew that I needed God. I was not into relationships. I break somebody's heart. I don't know how to do those things, because if I start a relationship, the woman cannot come and see me at home, my father will kill, all those kind of things. So you can't even try one. And we're in a gig, but we have some living things straight. You don't go out. And that's exactly what happens sometimes in the living thing area, you understand? You don't go out. You know, if we live in facing and face you out, but still, every step of the way you think before you misbehave, because that was something else. So, at a point in my life, it was just on a very lovely sunny day, on a Saturday. I remember vividly, I was playing ball with my friends inside the house, and then a brother just was passing by, was going to buy bread and beans. A tall, handsome, good-looking pastor from Deeper Life, who was an house fellowship leader of a student home success fellowship setting. So he was going, and then he interrupted the football. When the heat of the game, I was a defender. Not the defender of the truth like Baba, so I'm not going to it. But I was a defender on the football pitch. And then he interrupted that flow. And suddenly curses and abuses were raining from the players. You said something stupid. But I was calm. The man was like hefty, tall, but I was calm. So it was my calmness that attracted him. This boy didn't abuse back, so he came near me and he held my hand. And he said, "Sir, I want to play ball." So we finished. He was patient. And after his bread and his beans, he stayed and waited. And this calm boy, let me see how it goes. And that was the story. He waited. I finished. He came near me. I started telling me about Christ and how I can do this and all that. And I followed him home. He was living opposite our house. I saw him, listening to cases. It was strange to me. And then from there, I started going to House Care Fellowship. And then
that's Home Success Fellowship.
That's Successful Fellowship. And then I was loving God gradually. I got to meet there are some people in the house now I got to meet. But the whole turnaround happened on November 1990 when Pastor W.F. Kumi came to Government College in Akede for a great miracle crusade. That was where I met Christ face to face. But the building process started from that House Care Fellowship. It was at that point that I listened to the message, I gave my life to Christ, and since that time, the story has changed.
Wow, let's put our hands together. So, you're here, you're not taking that bold decision to Christ. It's important to make up one. There are so many things holding you today, but you want to make up your mind to do justice to your neighbor. Embrace Christ. Yes. Then let's enter into the world of business. There's what we call identity crisis among young people today. They finish school, they don't understand what they want to do, they don't understand. They enter into the rat race. They don't have a clear path. And when they enter into the rat race, after 2 or 3 years, everybody wants to travel to Canada. Even when they get to Canada, it's still not what they think it is. So I just want you to let us know, what are those things you want to let young people know today, that they need to have to properly find their identity and go on to fulfill their purpose?
Thank you very much. When I was in secondary school, and then I'll still give kudos to my parents, especially my dad, who from the onset has given me a very clear direction of who I am, because he sees me a lot, he lives with me, and he saw my potentials and all that. And he has given me a sense of direction of what he feels I can do. But thank God he did not impose it on me. At a point he did, he wanted me to follow his path as an aeronautical engineer. And so he invested a lot in my physics, my chemistry, my mathematics, my further maths and the end. But when I met Christ, and I met God's children, and I read the Word of God, and I was also reading books and materials outside Christendom about purpose, about getting clear directions and the rest of that. We read a lot in those days. I really don't know of now. So I made up my mind that I'm going to be a business person, and I decided to play fast on my parent by ensuring that economics, it's one of the key subjects I love to embrace with my sciences. He wanted me to do absolute science, completely science. So I knew that I cannot resist him, so I decided to embrace economics. And then from there, I kept on till A-levels, I was having direction. When I was in science class, I wasn't very fulfilled, but one thing is sure, that it gave me that platform for me to relate with the intelligent ones, because you can't overrule the fact that science students are genius, especially for those who are outstanding in what they do. And so there was an healthy competition in school, it grew, but I didn't forget my business studies, I didn't forget my economics and the rest of that. So as soon as I came out and I became a young adult, and I was trying to choose what course am I going to read, I carefully and just picked business administration, then accounting and the rest of that. Number one, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew where I was going. I wanted to run a business. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be an employer of labor. These are the dreams that I do have. And I pursued them very rigorously. And so when I finished, but I remember vividly with all the trainings that we have at the SHSS and the Youth Fellowship, among some of the various conferences and programs that we had in school in those days, there is a period of service, of stewardship, of apprenticeship before you can actually begin to get or display what you feel you need. And that's where some of us, we have a problem. We don't want to serve. We don't want to be an apprentice. We don't want to start from a humble beginning. The age you are in now, it's no more golden. It's becoming another kind of, the golden age. It's gradually changing in its proper definition. What people feel is just eat and run, get rich quickly. Other colleagues are making it in London. Just go there, and then when you get there, you get stranded. I was not distracted. I have a very firm purpose. And up till today, the people who work closely with me know that it's difficult for you to shift or change my direction. I am positively stubborn. Especially when you know what you are doing and where you are going. Strongly, you're strong, exactly. So I keep very, very focused. And when I started serving, and I keep telling people, I started with a water company, paying me 15,000 naira per month. No responsibility of the family was on me and all that. Even leaders discouraged me and felt you are better than this, but I did not despise the days of my little beginning. I was happy selling my water. It gave me a lot of identity problems. People were calling me Baba Olubi and the rest of that, but I know where I was going, and it was there I found the path eventually that launched me into where I am. I got a Peugeot automobile Nigeria job, and I just set a 5 years plan for myself that I'm going to serve this organization for 5 years, and after 5 years I'm going to leave. And I walked straight into it. 2000, we finished our training session. 2001, we were deployed to the principal agents and dealers, distributors we call them, in our sales network. I was attached to one in Lagos. After that, I moved to another one in the north, and then I started, and right there, I was serving well and faithfully, and he developed a very strong love for me. But on the 5th year, I walked up to him in Kaduna, and I prostrated to him and said, "Sir, I'd like to start my little business." And then he said to me, "Why? Hi," it's an outside way he expressed it. I said, "Sir, I need to go." To cut the long story short, he asked me to hold my ID card and whatever, that he's not going to sack me, he's not going to allow me to go for life, I should be a staff and all that, which I now registered my company in 2005. Now, what I want to say is this: I did not get any finance to start. The first drive, the first breakthrough I had that gave me that courage that yes, it is time, was from a customer I was serving faithfully. A bank, one of the first 3 banks in Nigeria. I was delivering vehicles to him, and one day he called me, the head of admin called me and said, "Ayo," said, "Sir, we need 5 units of this product. Do you have it?" I said, "No, sir, we don't sell it. I'm a product, a brand loyalist, and I'm very faithful. I don't cut corners, because I knew I was going to my private business. I don't want to destroy or misbehave while working with someone, because there are silent costs that goes with people who cut corners. So I didn't want to start a business and I'll be having, it's just be the law of karma to be playing back. So I was faithful. So he said to me, "You want to supply these 5 vehicles?" I said, "I don't know how to do it." "But your boss doesn't do it. But you have people you can go to, like the company. I will direct you to the company that supplies us. We actually don't like the distributor that is giving us this vehicle. And the manufacturers in Apapa, that product is called Isuzu, the pickup Isuzu. And they said the people supplying us Abuja in Apapa are not faithful. So we want a new dealer. You have been doing well with us, so we'll give you 5. I said, "The man doesn't, will he give me?" He said, "Go." So I went to the man, I went to his office. It's late now, I met him in his office and I prostrated to my sister. "I have an LPO here. My boss doesn't sell, but I beg you, sir, give me these vehicles. Deliver it directly to them. Let's do domiciliary stuff. You can take the money and give me the difference and all that." So he called the initiator of the LPO, and then they agreed they released the 5 vehicles, and that was the story. When they released, they paid. The man said they should pay to my account, that they will monitor that account to see whether, to them, maybe I was wrong with their money and all that. Immediately, the money was paid, I wired it back to them. By the time I saw the rest, the remnant, it was in 6 digits. I said, wow, so this is how people become millionaires here and millionaires. That was where the impetus came. I never had a bank loan. I never had any seed given. So there are different ways of starting business. But for me, I would just call it, I don't know, maybe you have in the nomenclature to use.
All right, that was going to be my next question. Vis-a-vis the myriads of challenges facing young people today, and I'm sure you had those challenges as well. Challenges of no money to start, challenges of the environment, challenges of power, challenges of government. Yeah, what would be your advice for the young people of this age and time in order to, imbibe cultures and build sustainable business like you're doing?
It's very complex. I must confess to you that we may not have a direct answer to that, because the era, the dispensation that I happen to function in, it's completely different from this era now. Era of bad leadership in governance, the era where you're churning out 5 to 10 times of graduates that was done in our time in the late 90s. Now you have graduates from private, public, even accredited and unaccredited institutions. And there are some other ones. So the problem is complex. But my own encouragement for the youths that are finding it tough or trying to get a place is just be persistent and get a very clear sense of direction of what you want to be, and try to locate where you can find a voice or you can find attention. There are several places you can. When you go to certain places, please try and make sure you get attention. Not attention, not seductive attention, not attention of being loud, but just being in circle of people that you know can possibly help and assist you. If you are an accounting student and you don't have a job for the last 2 years, you start your ICANN by the side. If you don't have money, there are little businesses you can do. Little businesses, you can ask for seed assistance from people. You can ask from friends to support you. You can as well log into a lot of programs. There are programs now offered by the state, by some great bodies abroad, in and out, that give support to young entrepreneurs. At least if you tap into it, take a look for the faithfulness to pay and repay those resources. You can tap into that. And for what I did in my time, I knew that I had no helper. I've been to friends, I've been to family friends and family members, they turned me down. So I then tapped into newspapers. Mine was the newspaper experience, Guardian Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I bought a lot of A4 papers, what do you call this book? Higher education we call it. I got a ruler, I ruled it, and then I was applying, throwing my bread into many waters. Sometimes on a Tuesday, I can send about 50 letters. Is that because I knew there was no helper? So I chilled around, and then I started getting replies. So we say, come for interview. After I go for you won't hear anything again. But so the last one that came, I said, okay, we'll give you the job. You don't have experience. We'll give you the job, but we can pay 15,000. I said, it's all right. Some teaching, some you need to serve someone. I know somebody who told me it became great today. He's a commissioner in this state. He started by being a servant to someone. He just told the man, let me carry your bag anywhere. Let me graduate. And you see Queen's English dropping like water. But no,